Pew Research announces that voters in the U.S. generally have a positive view of how elections were conducted, a stark contrast to the 2020 elections. Meanwhile, Trump advisors continue to push for the pardon of Edward Snowden. 3 weeks ago, Fox News.
Major cybercrime operation nets over 1,000 arrests across Africa. In India, meth seized from a Myanmar boat costs more than the aircraft carrier Vikrant, which cost $2.49 billion to build. The Indian Coast Guard also seized 5.5 tons of drugs in the Andaman waters, making it the largest narcotics haul ever. Interpol's financial crime operation made a record 5,500 arrests and seized over USD 400 million in worthless assets.
Axios reports that the Biden administration's agenda has spurred a remarkable $1 trillion in economic investment. In other news, Intel has secured a substantial $7.9 billion award for constructing a new U.S. chip plant. Additionally, Chinese scientists have made a groundbreaking discovery, claiming to have successfully developed a converged energy beam weapon, drawing parallels to the iconic Death Star from Star Wars.
With Haaretz, the country's largest newspaper, following the publisher's decision to refer to terrorists as freedom fighters. Additionally, officials in Israel and Lebanon reported that they were on the verge of signing a ceasefire deal. Furthermore, an advisor to the supreme leader of Iran stated that Iran was preparing to respond to Israel.
Russia says it needs migrants to fill labor shortage. Russia recruits Yemeni mercenaries to fight in Ukraine, and Putin signs law forgiving debt arrears for new Russian recruits for Ukraine war. Putin's assassination targets revealed in declassified memo as declassified U.S. intelligence memorandum details Russia's suspected targeting of political adversaries abroad.
As the U.S. debt reaches a staggering $36 trillion, approximately $1 in every $5 the government spends is repaid to investors who lent it money. In a groundbreaking move, the UK government is set to conduct its first major trial to address poverty by providing cash to homeless individuals. Additionally, Miley officially ended her relationship with Villarreal, asserting that she is now closer to the cast and that the vice president has no influence on Argentina's policy.
To bash Britain with massive cyber attack, ministers to warn NATO conference. Meta power military chat but advertised giving worthless advice on airstrikes. U.S. Air Force says drones spotted near 3 bases in England last week.
North Korean hackers stole $10 million using AI-driven scams and malware on LinkedIn. Additionally, a cyber attack targeted the data of 500,000 Auchan shoppers. A Thai medical tycoon is wanted for fraud and fled to China, according to police reports.
Orders to Riyadh. Lutnick's Cantor engages in discussions with Tether regarding a $2 billion Bitcoin lending project. Washington restricts Intel's chip grant following the company's recent setbacks. Blinken intends to provide the incoming successor, Rubio, with the most favorable circumstances possible. Amnesty International's investigation reveals that Israel is perpetrating genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. The U.S. apprehends an individual suspected of assisting North Korea in preparing a surprise attack on South Korea.
Russia-linked Turla exploits Pakistani hacker servers to target Afghan and Indian entities. U.S. chips are deemed unsafe by Chinese industry bodies in their latest trade criticism. Romania was the target of aggressive hybrid Russian attacks during its elections, as stated by the Security Council.
The world is entering its third nuclear age with few safeguards, according to the UK military chief. Additionally, the US is constructing an early warning system to detect geoengineering. Georgian opposition figures have been arrested amidst ongoing pro-EU protests.
The United Nations has suspended aid shipments through Gaza's primary crossing following looting incidents. The UN has blamed Israel for the looting. Netanyahu's former defense minister, Yalon, has criticized the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, stating that it is not the most morally upright army in the world, and has reiterated the accusation of ethnic cleansing. Furthermore, Israeli leadership has been accused of leading the country down a path of ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Additionally, an Israeli strike in Gaza resulted in the deaths of World Central Kitchen workers, with Israel claiming that one of the victims was an attacker on October 7th.
Ukraine must explore diplomatic avenues to reclaim occupied territories, as President Zelensky emphasizes to Kyoto News. Ukraine anticipates the surge in the use of uncrewed ground vehicles and AI targeting drones by 2025. Reportedly, Ukrainian-trained, Turkish-sponsored Syrian rebels lead an assault on Aleppo. Lebanon's Hezbollah vows to continue resistance after ceasefire, as Israel and Hezbollah ceasefire begins after year of conflict. Politico comments as Biden tries to go out with a Middle East miracle, as Biden pushes Netanyahu to get a Gaza hostage versus ceasefire deal after Lebanon truce. France says Netanyahu is immune from ICC warrant as Israel is not member of court. Berlin police chief issues warning for Jews in city's Arab neighborhoods.
Crypto exchange Kraken has shut down its NFT marketplace. The Fifth Circuit has ruled that the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, overstepped its authority in sanctioning Tornado Cash's immutable smart contracts. Federal Reserve minutes indicate that officials prefer gradual rate cuts rather than abrupt ones. Biden rolled off its 6 millionth new energy vehicle. As of November 2024, 10 months ago, China's BYD overtakes Tesla as top-selling electric car seller. German steel giant ThyssenKrupp to slash 11,000 jobs. Trump says he will impose new tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China on first day.
Ukraine has lost more than 40% of the land it seized in Russia's Kursk region, according to a senior Kyiv military source. Additionally, the Blackwater founder asserts that there is no chance for Ukraine to reclaim the Russia-annexed lands. Furthermore, banks in the United Arab Emirates, Turkey and Thailand have ceased servicing UnionPay cards issued by Gazprom Bank. BMW 5 Series claims German Car of the Year title in 2025. Bloomberg suggests Northvolt's decline began with BMW's decision to discontinue production. UniCredit proposes a $10.5 billion acquisition of Banco BPM, a competitor in Italy. In the third quarter of 2024, the number of bankruptcy declarations among EU businesses increased by 2.7% compared to the second quarter.
Underwater boron ramjet for hypersonic weapons achieves 90% efficiency. Chinese scientists build recoilless AK-47 that can be wielded by almost any drone. South Korea, Malaysia agree to cooperate in defense, minerals.
RNA exhibits no preference for left or right-handedness, as prebiotic chiral transfer from self-amino-acylating ribozymes could potentially favor either-handedness. On the other hand, an early hominid discovered in China has sparked a new debate about the existence of a new species, characterized by its large head and prominent teeth.
The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has broadened its telemarketing rule to encompass technical support scams, which resulted in substantial losses of $175 million for consumers aged 60 and above last year. Additionally, Ofcom reported a significant increase in the time spent online by adults in the UK, with a nearly hour-long jump in 2024. Furthermore, SUSE has rebranded and launched an AI platform designed to protect enterprise data.
NATO chief says, Ukraine not in strong position to negotiate with Putin. Chinese ship's crew suspected of deliberately dragging anchor for 100 miles to cut Baltic cables. Romania regulator, ANCOM vice president calls for the suspension of TikTok on Romanian territory. Steam removes October 7th game at request of UK counter-terrorism unit. 3 Uzbek nationals arrested in the killing of an Israeli-Moldovan rabbi in the UAE, and UAE thanks Turkey for helping to arrest suspects in killing of Israeli rabbi. A fugitive wanted in the US for a pair of bombings is arrested in the UK after 20 years on the run.
Russia expels a British diplomat over alleged espionage activities. In response, the UK's number 10 dismisses Russia's spy claims as baseless. Brian Krebs comments that a hacker involved in snowflake extortions may be a US soldier. Additionally, NASA discovers a secret US military base, buried 100 feet deep in Greenland ice.
Putin warns Ukraine of new missile strikes as Russia intensifies its assault on the power grid. In a separate development, a UK base spying allegedly passed classified information to Russia for nearly 3 years, as revealed by a court. Additionally, Georgia has decided to suspend its secession talks with the European Union until 2028.
Former Binance employee sues exchange for unfair dismissal after raising bribery allegations. Reuters reports that HSBC is withdrawing from its China credit card business, due to difficulties in expanding. Hackers steal $17 million from the Uganda Central Bank.
Has filed a lawsuit against Google, accusing the tech giant of engaging in anti-competitive practices related to advertising. In a separate development, the Competition Commission of India, CCI, has initiated an investigation into Google following a complaint lodged by the real money gaming platform, Winzio. Additionally, Google has taken legal action against a Pixel engineer who allegedly leaked trade secrets online.
China's Defense Minister Dong Jun is under investigation for corruption, as reported by the Financial Times. Additionally, a survey reveals that over 50% of French citizens want their government to fall. Furthermore, Adani fraud allegations have rocked the Indian parliament, prompting the opposition to demand a probe into the billionaire's firms.
Likely be said in earlier decades such as 1966, says creator. The character I miss writing the most is actually Wisteria Lane.
Ireland is poised to form a coalition government following the parliamentary election, as indicated by an exit poll. In other news, the Icelandic opposition Social Democrats are expected to secure a victory in the upcoming elections. Additionally, Romanians are voting in parliamentary elections, while the far-right party hopes to make gains in the process. Furthermore, Namibia has decided to extend election voting due to technical issues, which has drawn complaints from the opposition.
Fox News is reaping the benefits of Donald Trump's victory, reported by Financial Times. Republicans are preparing for the upcoming debate about the costs of the $5 trillion Trump's tax cut. A report claims that the auto industry could lose 17% of its profits due to Trump's tariff plan. Moscow expels German journalists. Berlin denies closing Russia TV bureau. Lithuania expels 3 Chinese staff as diplomatic ties weighed. Senegal's leader says France should close all army bases in country.
Researchers have discovered the first UEFI bootkit malware specifically designed for Linux systems. Kodak has decided to pause the production of film output, doubling down on its growing popularity among the Gen Z demographic. Wild turkeys are becoming increasingly difficult to locate as they develop strategies to evade hunters.
New Japanese rocket engine explodes during testing for the second time in 16 months. HESS collaboration detects the most energetic cosmic ray electrons and positrons ever observed. Blue Origin removes the video of the 100th woman in space after being flooded with sexist comments.
Intel CEO, under pressure from the board, was forced out. Bloomberg comments that this departure opens the door to fresh deal discussions. Interest rates continue to depress valuations, impacting private equity and IPO markets. It has been announced as Orbital Materials and AWS have formed a strategic partnership to develop and pilot technologies for data center decarbonization and efficiency.
Ranks third among the most sought-after employers in Japan. Adani asserts that no company officials are facing U.S. bribery charges. VW Union plans to commence walkouts in response to cost-cutting measures.
In the Baltic Sea, a Russian ship fired signaling ammunition at a German army helicopter. Bloomberg commented stating that Europe's newest startup trend is the development of AI-powered weapons. Helsing, a defense AI company in Europe, unveiled an intelligent swarm-capable strike drone capable of mass and precision strikes. In a rare phone call, the Russian defense chief cautioned the top U.S. general about conducting a large-scale military exercise in the Mediterranean Sea. This call was between Russia's top general and the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it focused on discussing ATACMS, Oreshnik, and North Korean troops.
Mexico detained over 5,200 migrants in a single day, despite Trump's threats. Migrant caravans persist, and Mexican troops seized a record fentanyl haul just days after Trump threatened tariffs. The U.S. is offering a $15 million reward for the arrest of Mexican cartel leader El Mencho.
Income neighborhoods from prime delivery, as stated by the District of Columbia's Attorney General. Additionally, the European Union is considering targeting ultra-low-cost retailers such as Shein and Temu with package handling fees or import taxes. Furthermore, the UK police forces have quietly withdrawn from the X platform due to concerns about the content on the platform.
A potential deal with SpaceX could significantly increase the value of Elon Musk's company, potentially reaching a valuation of $350 billion. Additionally, California leaders are taking proactive steps to safeguard abortion rights in anticipation of the potential impact of Donald Trump's presidency. Furthermore, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, is expressing a desire to actively participate in shaping Donald Trump's technology policies.
In the U.S., this year, most Black Friday shoppers opted for online deals, resulting in record spending. Streamer Kai Cenat achieved millions of dollars in earnings and broke the Twitch subscriber record during the 30 days live stream. Millions of Indonesians found themselves ensnared in the digital debt trap as their spending power diminished. 4 months ago, it was noted that Indonesia was considering increased oversight of the rapidly expanding peer-to-peer lending industry.
Japan's crypto exchange DM Bitcoin is set to be liquidated. Coinbase has integrated Apple Pay for crypto on-ramp and abandoned its plans to expand into Turkey. Nike is discontinuing its Ethereum NFT sneaker and avatar company, RTFKT.
Coinbase policy chief anticipates swift approval of cryptocurrency laws following Trump's election victory. In a related development, South Korea's Democratic Party has agreed to postpone the implementation of a cryptocurrency tax for 2 years. Additionally, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has filed a lawsuit against Tuzi Capital and its CEO, alleging a $115 million crypto mining fraud that allegedly affected approximately 1,500 investors. South Korean investors are shifting their focus to U.S. stocks and cryptocurrencies, leading to a decline in South Korea's stock market as investors flock to the cryptocurrency market. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal recently signed an $11 million settlement for an Astrals NFT. Additionally, the Alternative for Germany, AfD, party has included Bitcoin in its election program for the upcoming Bundestag elections in Germany.
Significant milestone in the industry. Meanwhile, a Texas judge has blocked the nationwide enforcement of an anti-money laundering law, while the federal court has temporarily halted the enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act. Additionally, British regulators have approved a $19 billion merger between Vodafone and 3 mobile operators.
TikTok Shop's Black Friday sales tripled, surpassing $100 million. Tesla instructed its workers to remain home as demand for the Cybertruck declined. Shell and Equinor are forming a joint venture to establish the UK's largest independent oil and gas producer.
Far-right populist surprises in Romanian presidential election appearing set to enter runoff. North Korea, Russia agree on sports exchanges in 2025, KCNA says. Trump reportedly plans to kick trans troops out of the military within days of inauguration.
Axios comments that Trump's mass deportation plan could clog immigration courts for years. Politico comments that Raimondo's urgent mission is to leave no cash for Trump. MTG says that sanctuary states and cities should explain to the DOJ why they deserve federal money.
Candidate wins tight presidential election in Uruguay. Maduro agents have cut off electricity and intensified the siege of the Argentine embassy, as reported by an asylum seeker. 2 months ago, Venezuelan security forces surrounded the Argentine embassy after opposition members sought refuge inside. In the U.S., a report revealed that 1 in 10 Democrats believe the Trump election was illegitimate. In Israel, PM firmly condemns attempt by Jewish extremists to attack top IDF West Bank commander. Lindsey Graham tells allies we're gonna crush your economy if they arrest Netanyahu for war crimes. Reportedly, Benjamin Netanyahu weakened by the Bible leaks, an organized leak of falsified secret documents to justify the war in Gaza.
Alexander Mashinsky, the founder and former CEO of Celsius, has pleaded guilty to a multi-billion-dollar fraud and market manipulation scheme. Meanwhile, TikTok informed the European Parliament that it has dismantled networks of accounts targeting the Romanian audience. 5 days ago, TikTok rejected Romania's allegation of preferential treatment given to a far-right presidential candidate. On the regulatory front, the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) has taken action against Gravy Analytics and Vental for unlawfully selling location data tracking consumers to sensitive sites. The proposed order bans the use or sale of data associated with military sites, churches, labor unions, and other sensitive locations.
Elon Musk aims to eliminate the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, transferring power to Wall Street. The CFPB and FHFA are now on the list of agencies to undergo a course change under Trump. Reuters reports that the U.S. consumer finance watchdog is moving forward with new rules ahead of the Trump takeover. Rolling Stone reports that Team Trump is debating the extent of U.S. involvement in Mexico. Additionally, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are facing lawsuits from Republican states over their climate change push. Mexico proposes imposing its own tariffs as a retaliatory measure against any potential tariffs imposed by the United States. In a recent statement, Goldman Sachs estimated that Trump's proposed tariff increases could lead to a nearly 1% increase in inflation. Additionally, Trump has vowed to impose an additional 10% tariff on China, 25% tariffs on Canada, and Mexico. On a different note, Zimbabwe held a debt conference to chart its ambitious return to global finance. During the conference, Zimbabwe announced that it would pay approximately $6.331 billion to white farmers as part of its efforts to secure access to international funds.
Harris aides claim that internal polling never showed her leading Trump. Sharon Stone asserts that Trump's victory was due to the uneducated and non-traveling American population. Notably, Trump's guitars were recently hit with a cease and desist order from Gibson due to the use of the Les Paul body shape. Trump unveiled a limited edition American Eagle, acoustic and electric guitar just a week ago. National Review reports that DEI training material increases perception of non-existent prejudice, in agreement with Hitler rhetoric, as a study finds. Texas abortion laws are straining the OB/GYN workforce, new study shows. In the UK, BBC risks losing working-class viewers to GB News, Lord's report finds, as UK news coverage at risk of fracturing irreparably within 10 years, peers warn.
In the U.S., State Department faces questions over reported counseling after Trump win. It has been reported that, for Democratic firms raked in $600 million running ads for Kamala's failed campaign, and Kamala Harris burned through $1.5 billion in 15 weeks. Tom Homan says, "I guarantee funds will be cut from states not
Washington Examiner reports that AOC's potential 2028 presidential run would be a disaster, according to a former Clinton advisor. The Hill reports that a former Trump Treasury official warns against underestimating Ocasio-Cortez in 2028. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reports that Bolsonaro is making a comeback bid in Brazil and is betting on Trump's help, with Bolsonaro reveling in Trump's win and saying, "We'll be back too." Additionally, Viktor Orban is facing criticism after an aide claimed that Hungary would likely not have resisted the Russian invasion.
Trump, amid assassination threats, NATO to deploy 100,000 peacekeepers in Ukraine, Russia claims. Zelensky open to ceasefire if NATO protects unoccupied areas. Also, Zelensky suggests hot phase of Ukraine war could end in return for NATO membership if offered, even if seized land isn't returned immediately. Lebanon had no input in the decision to go to war, according to its foreign minister. In contrast, President Biden holds Hezbollah responsible for igniting the past year of conflict. Meanwhile, Pakistani police have charged Imran Khan and his wife with inciting violence. Additionally, French President Macron has acknowledged the 1944 massacre of West African troops by French forces.
Elon Musk's X tells the EU that we're a safe space for free speech. PEN America reports more than 10,000 books banned in 2023-24 school year. TikTok says U.S. ban would have staggering impact on free speech. Mexico's president and Trump engaged in a positive conversation, but they diverged on migration details. In response to Trump's claim that Mexico should close its borders, the president asserted that Mexico's position is not to do so. Pew Research Center reported that the public narrowly approved of Trump's plans, while most were skeptical that he would unify the country. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal reported that cryptocurrency leaders are urging Trump to establish a federal Bitcoin reserve. Reportedly, George Clooney fuming he was seduced by Barack Obama to put boot into Joe Biden before being blamed for Trump win. Zelensky agrees on X to a 3-hour Lex Fridman podcast appearance, as Musk touts another win for the platform. Wall Street Journal reports that Musk's rivals fear he will target them with his new power.
Georgian president denounces parliament as illegitimate following the U.S.'s suspension of its strategic partnership. Crime boss Hutch narrowly misses out on a seat in the Irish parliament. In the U.S., President Biden grants pardons to his son Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden says his mistakes were exploited for political sport. He will never take pardon for granted. Trump calls Hunter Biden pardon an abuse and miscarriage of justice.
Its first genuine oligarchs, warns democracy activist Garry Kasparov. John Bolton draws parallels between Kash Patel and the Soviet secret police leader, while CNN comments that Trump's plan to replace the current FBI director with the firebrand Kash Patel has garnered bipartisan criticism. Additionally, Trump appoints Mossad Boulos, Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, as a senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. Former Democratic Representative Tim Ryan warns on MSNBC, his own party is toxic to voters with, "What are we doing?" NY Times hammered for article referring to biological women as non-transgender women. In the U.S., elite colleges have made few gains in enrolling low-income students, study finds.
Turkey, according to a Ukrainian lawmaker, will not support a peace plan that includes territorial concessions. Just 10 days ago, Russia condemned Turkey's peace plan for the war in Ukraine as unacceptable. President-elect Trump has reportedly sought the opinion of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán regarding the Ukraine war. Additionally, 8 individuals were apprehended following a blast that disrupted water and power supplies in Kosovo.
Fox News comments that Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter cements his legacy as the liar-in-chief. Joe Manchin suggests that Biden should pardon Trump to achieve a more balanced approach. Additionally, Trump is expected to attend the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral during his first foreign trip since the election. Furthermore, the White House announces that Biden is anticipated to issue more pardons before the end of his term. After days of Israeli airstrikes, Hezbollah retaliated, each accusing the other of violating the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Trump warned that hell to pay would ensue if the Gaza hostages were not released before his inauguration. Additionally, 3 sources reported that Hezbollah is not currently planning to send fighters to support Assad in Syria.
Putin's ally predicts Russia will reject Trump's Ukraine truce bid. Angela Merkel delayed Ukraine's NATO bid due to Russia's concerns, memoir reveals. Former NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg suggests temporarily ceding territory to conclude the war.
In the United States, a study claims that numerous migrants at the southern border were threatened with U.S.-made firearms. Democratic senators are urging President Biden to take measures to restrict former President Trump's use of the U.S. military for domestic purposes. Additionally, California lawmakers are convening a special session to revise state laws to ensure they are Trump-proof.
AI has created a Minecraft village with up to 1,000 inhabitants. Project SID envisions AI bots implementing a taxation system and spreading Pastafarianism as a religion. Additionally, physical AWS data transfer terminals will facilitate uploading content to the cloud. Furthermore, the 1978 animated Lord of the Rings movie is set to make its streaming debut.
The U.S. Labor Department proposes eliminating the subminimum wage for disabled workers. In Afghanistan, the Taliban has banned women from pursuing midwifery and nursing courses, exacerbating the already dire state of the health sector. Additionally, the new EU Parliament has voted to exempt countries with stable or growing forests from its deforestation law.
Apple claims to use Amazon's custom AI chips, while Amazon launches a new tool to address AI hallucinations. Microsoft faces a £1.2 billion lawsuit in the UK over its cloud software licensing practices. Google expressed concerns about a contract with Israel, as recently, The Intercept revealed inconsistencies in Google's Project Nimbus claims.
Experts have developed a controllable gastric balloon to aid weight loss. A study suggests that women with depression may be more prone to experiencing painful periods. Additionally, an Intermountain study found that air pollution significantly increases inflammation in individuals with heart disease, posing heightened health risks associated with exposure.
South Korea's President Yoon reverses his decision to impose martial law after lawmakers rejected it. Amidst military restrictions, South Korean president appointed a martial law commander. However, the South Korean parliament voted to defy the president by lifting his declaration of martial law. Previously, South Korean president declared an emergency martial law, accusing the opposition of engaging in anti-state activities. Meanwhile, Korea's largest labor union initiated an indefinite strike and called for President Yoon's resignation. Furthermore, 6 South Korean opposition parties submitted President Yoon's impeachment bill to the Yonhap news agency.
Dinesh D'Souza quietly admits that his 2020 election film was wrong and apologizes to the man he identified as a ballot harvester. The Washington Post comments that Trump and his allies are blurring the lines between politicians and influencers. Ocasio-Cortez becomes the first person to reach 1 million followers on Blue Sky.
Pew Research announces that voters in the U.S. generally have a positive view of how elections were conducted, a stark contrast to the 2020 elections. Meanwhile, Trump advisors continue to push for the pardon of Edward Snowden. 3 weeks ago, Fox News reported that the Trump cabinet's selection of individuals increased the chances of Snowden receiving a life of freedom in the U.S. Jeff Bezos expressed his intention to engage in discussions with Trump to prevent him from viewing the news media as an enemy. Bezos also shared his pride in ending endorsements at the Washington Post, expressing optimism about the possibility of a second Trump term. He further stated that he is optimistic about the prospect of a new Trump term and believes he can contribute to reducing regulations.
French lawmakers vote to oust Prime Minister in the first successful no-confidence vote since 1962. Yale list picks Taylor Swift childless cat lady as 2024's top quote. MSNBC comments as, South Korea just gave Donald Trump a warning, if his opponents are listening. South Korean leader will face impeachment vote over martial law declaration. South Korean opposition leader thought martial law announcement was a deep fake.
His reputation but rather cemented an already corrupt legacy. Bernie Sanders asserts that Elon Musk is a very smart guy, and believes for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that is right, our society is unhealthy. Jared Isaacman, a billionaire who paid for 2 SpaceX flights, was chosen as the new NASA administrator by Trump.
Russian criminals aided UK drug gangs in laundering lockdown funds, as the UK uncovers a vast cryptocurrency laundering scheme involving gangsters and Russian spies. At least 8 U.S. telecommunication firms were targeted by China's hacking campaign, according to the White House, prompting U.S. senators to pledge action after receiving a briefing on the Chinese Salt Typhoon telecom hacking incident. Additionally, it has been reported that numerous nations have been affected by the China hack, while Americans were advised to cease sending texts, and U.S. officials urged Americans to utilize encrypted applications in response to the unprecedented cyber attack. Furthermore, smugglers were apprehended with 6,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, and they allegedly utilized Elon Musk's Starlink satellite system for navigation.
Irregular sleep patterns increase the risk of stroke and heart attack, according to a recent study. On a lighter note, animal characters can positively impact the psychological development of young children. In a disturbing development, experts have reported that switches are being used to convert handguns into machine guns in the virtual world of Grand Theft Auto. These modifications, known as Glock switches, are escalating the level of violence in the game. Loneliness is associated with neural representations and language usage that diverge from the shared cultural norms. A recent study reveals that dementia may manifest a decade earlier in men at high risk for heart disease. Additionally, a landmark study sheds light on the prevalence of inflammatory bowel disease among over 100,000 American youth.
Cyber attacks have cost British businesses a staggering $55 billion over the past 5 years, according to a recent report. Notably, a ransomware attack on the supply chain management software provider Blue Yonder has forced Starbucks to manually pay its baristas, highlighting the impact of such attacks on businesses. Furthermore, a study suggests that deadline violations can negatively affect perceived work quality and worker evaluations.
A 65,000 years old hearth in Iberia provides evidence that Neanderthals produced tar for crafting stone tools. Ethiopian wolves have been discovered as the first large carnivores to consume nectar. Additionally, the first ice-free day in the Arctic Ocean is predicted to occur before 2030.
Scientists have finally confirmed that crabs can indeed experience pain. A giant hornet from Asia has made its first appearance in Europe. A new study suggests possible origins of dark matter in a dark Big Bang scenario.
Shoppers can be made to feel sorry for single bananas, study finds. Study claims biodiversity impacts of recent land use change driven by increases in agri-food imports and nature is changing as land abandonment increases. Submarine detection at near light speed possible with China's sci-fi like radar as Chinese scientists create a ghost radar moving at near light speed to detect submarines.
Oxford Word of the Year 2024 is named brain rot. The gene responsible for the orange fur in cats has finally been discovered. Additionally, a study reveals that ultra-processed foods significantly increase the risk of developing active psoriasis.
Several Denisovan populations interbred with modern humans multiple times, according to a recent study. Additionally, Neanderthal genes provided modern humans with an immunity boost and allergies. Furthermore, evidence suggests that Bronze Age civilizations in the Yangtze River basin of China used silk for sacrificial purposes. Lastly, a new study reveals that LED lights may deter great white sharks from surfers.
India's Gyoksh, the youngest player ever to qualify for the FIDE World Chess Championship. More than half of English speakers now watch foreign language content. Oldest known alphabet unearthed in ancient Syrian city.
Blue Man Group, after more than 3 decades, will be ending its residency in New York City. Elton John has been battling an infection in the right eye for 4 months and is uncertain whether to resume recording in the studio. Drake has accused Universal Music and Spotify of artificially inflating Kendrick Lamar's numbers for the diss track, Not Like Us.
Music revenues surpass cinema's pre-pandemic peak due to the streaming boom. Sony is developing a handheld console capable of running PS5 games. In the UK, private equity firms and European broadcasters emerge as potential suitors for ITV.
Tourism claims and files a motion to dismiss the Flowers copyright lawsuit. In another news update, U.S. Customs has seized over 3,000 counterfeit Gibson guitars. Lastly, Tim Robbins expresses concern about the future of cinema if online streamers continue to dominate the industry.
Caffeine's influence on the brain's mesolimbic dopaminergic pathway could potentially diminish the addictive effects of alcohol. In a study titled The Effect of Sex on Immune Cells in Healthy Aging, it was discovered that elderly women possess more robust natural killer lymphocytes compared to their male counterparts. An intriguing discovery was made when a hidden entrance to a mysterious ancient temple was found concealed within the cliffs of Egypt.
A boy discovers a Neanderthal axe on a beach in Sussex. Taiwanese barista triumphs in the 2024 World Latte Art Championship. Coins valued at over $1 million are recovered from 1715 Spanish treasure shipwrecks in Florida.
Julia Roberts politely declined Richard Curtis's proposal for a sequel to Notting Hill, labeling it as a very poor idea. Hybe shares plummet as the K-pop sensation New Jeans announces its departure from the entertainment agency. Warren Buffett continues his philanthropic endeavors, donating another $1.1 billion and outlining his plans for distributing his substantial fortune of $147 billion upon his passing. The building that serves as the canvas for Banksy's infamous well-hung lover is now up for sale. Mr. Beast claims to have broken 40 world records while filming the $100 million Amazon reality show Beast Games. Footprints discovered in Kenya reveal that 2 species of ancient human relatives coexisted on the same ground simultaneously, indicating that at least 2 hominin species inhabited the region 1.5 million years ago.
Animation Guild reaches tentative deal with studios after bargaining over AI guardrails and more. Disney agrees to $43 million deal to settle class action over women's pay. European police bust a pirate streaming service making €250 million per month.
Iranian Putin supporter and TikTok star won in a surprising first-round victory. Meanwhile, UNESCO has warned online influencers that they urgently need training in fact-checking. Additionally, Twitter's objection to The Onion's purchase of InfoWars serves as a reminder that social media users do not own their accounts.
Joe Rogan maintained the top spot on Spotify's podcast charts for the entire year of 2024. In a significant development, DAZN secured a historic free-to-view deal with FIFA, granting them the exclusive rights to broadcast the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 trademark globally. Additionally, IRA bomber Marion Price filed a lawsuit against Disney Plus regarding the depiction of a murder scene in the TV show Say Nothing.
Official trailer for Disney's live-action Snow White is released. Alex Consani makes history as the first transgender model of the year at the UK Fashion Awards. Surprisingly, RFK Jr. used to sell bottled water with unusually high levels of fluoride.
Kendrick Lamar and SZA have announced a massive co-headlining tour of U.S. stadiums in 2025. In other news, Pokemon TCG Pocket reportedly surpassed $200 million in sales within its first month. Car maker Jaguar has unveiled a concept car called the Type 00, which will debut at Miami Art Week 2024. German broadcaster NDR censored its own investigation into the world's largest consortium of investigative media outlets. In a separate development, the European Federation of Journalists, representing 295,000 members, has left X over its alliance with former President Donald Trump and tech mogul Elon Musk. Additionally, J.K. Rowling criticized the BBC after a footballer with high testosterone levels won an award, calling the BBC's response spitting in women's faces.
That People's $69 million NFT sale marked a potentially transformative moment for the art world. Fortnite recently hosted an in-game concert featuring Eminem, Ice Spice, and Juice WRLD, attracting a staggering 14.3 million concurrent players. Additionally, France has secured a significant victory by becoming the first country to champion the EU AVMS directive, which aims to protect streamers from copyright infringement. Over the past 3 years, French content creators have garnered an impressive $1 billion in investments.
Google unveils GLASSBRIDGE, a pro-China influence network of fake news websites. Security Ministry warns that foreign spies may be employing deepfakes to target China and its citizens. Ministers warn NATO conference that Russia is prepared to launch a massive cyber attack on Britain.
China has set a deadline for big tech companies to address algorithm-related issues and close echo chambers on their platforms. Additionally, China is cracking down on unfair algorithm-based internet practices. On the other hand, India has restricted WhatsApp from sharing data with other Meta entities and imposed a $25.4 million fine. Furthermore, Microsoft has confirmed that the Windows 11 24H2 update is causing crashes in some Ubisoft games. Taylor Swift's Eras tour book makes history, selling a reported 814,000 copies in just 2 days. Elden Ring 2 is not in development, but From Software has multiple projects in the works, spanning a variety of genres, according to Hidetaka Miyazaki. Miyazaki also shared that Elden Ring might be as ambitious a game as he ever envisions. Where From Software is right now, in terms of scale, I would say Elden Ring is truly the limit. In an astonishing discovery, researchers have unearthed a 480-year-old firearm in Arizona, described as the oldest ever found in the United States.
NHL announces Finland and Sweden rosters for the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off, featuring the USA and Canada. Spotify and Notebook LM have collaborated to develop a personalized AI podcast that captures your year in audio. Scottish artist Ghislaine Kaur made history by winning the Turner Prize 2024 for an innovative installation that transformed a car into a doily.
Additionally, X-rays have revealed a tiny 19th-century beetle embedded within a Paul Gauguin painting. Furthermore, a Swiss auction firm has made history as the first to sell art solely authenticated by artificial intelligence.
Anthropic introduces the Model Context Protocol, a universal and open standard that enables seamless connectivity between AI systems and data sources, eliminating the need for fragmented integrations and replacing them with a single protocol. IMAX partners with Cambly, AI to bring AI-powered translations and dubbing to theaters worldwide, revolutionizing the movie-going experience. In a remarkable white glove sale, the collection of Larry Warsh featuring 31 Keith Haring subway drawings fetched an impressive $9.2 million. Blue Sky is accused of violating EU regulations regarding the disclosure of information, according to the European Union. Corning has submitted a bid to settle the EU's antitrust case related to Gorilla Glass. Elon Musk suggests that Twitter restricts posts containing links.
Apple's thin iPhone lacking physical SIMs could potentially hinder sales in China. Threads, inspired by X, introduces AI-generated summaries of trending topics. Elon Musk unveils Neuralink study on a mind-controlled robotic arm. AI enhanced the 1970 human washing machine to create a sensation at the Osaka Expo. Google is preparing Gemini to take action within applications. Almost 10% of South Korea's workforce is now composed of robots.
European mobile payment system Wero is launching in Belgian banks. The Canadian government is auctioning off a rare Pokémon card from its surplus list. Rumors suggest that the A20 Pro chipset for the iPhone 18 series, expected to be released in 2026, could be manufactured by Intel. The U.S. agency approves licenses to extend coverage to dead zones for T-Mobile and SpaceX as the FCC's plan to bring cell service to every corner of America. In other news, France's Orange partners with OpenAI and Meta to develop custom African language AI models. Additionally, Google tests more DMA changes in Europe, including dropping maps for hotel results. After the Office software outage, Microsoft faced allegations of data scraping in Word and Excel. Microsoft clarified that Word and Excel AI data scraping was not enabled by default. Additionally, Qualcomm reportedly lost interest in the Intel takeover. Lastly, Claude AI can now adapt its writing style to match yours. Meta's Threads is shifting its focus to follower-friendly feeds in response to the rapid user growth of its rival, Blue Sky. Formula One is expanding its grid, with General Motors set to become the 11th team in 2026. This move marks General Motors' entry into the Formula One world, as they are bringing a Cadillac team to the sport. The Biden administration has given preliminary approval to a $6.6 billion loan to Rivian, an electric vehicle manufacturer. TikTok is considering blocking teenagers from using beauty filters due to concerns about their mental health. In a related development, a U.S. judge ruled that influencers should face lawsuits for copying the creator's vibe. This comes after a recent report of a creator suing another for allegedly copying her vibe. Additionally, a study suggests a positive association between